What we do here is go back.
How's it going, everyone, and welcome to episode 53 of the Lost Media podcast. You thought Fear Factor was crazy. You thought the shit they did on that show was unbelievable. That was just shocking. You have not seen anything yet, guys. You have not seen... What the fuck? You have not seen The Chamber. I don't know if anyone heard that in the background just then. That was so on cue. That was the most on cue noise. It's my brother's gurneying a deck upstairs, and he just on cue came up with the fog. What are those machines in TV shows where the thing sprays on cue, like when someone's coming out and it goes psh, and the host is walking out? Guys, The Chamber was a television show on Fox, and it was the stupidest thing ever. By the way, usually I just start the recording again and just be like, fuck this, that's a massive error. I've done that multiple times in multiple recordings, just been like, well, that's ruined it. But I'm including it as part of it because that was on cue. This mic has probably taken it out, so everyone's just like, what are you babbling on for the last minute? Feel free to skip to when this episode actually starts, which is now. This show is ridiculous. This is one of the stupidest shows I've ever seen. It's kind of like Moment of Truth. I think in the mid-2000s, they were just pushing the limits of how stupid they could make a television show. And this is just the height. This show practically tortured its contestants. The whole point is the contestants go in a chamber and they're subjected to all sorts of shit. High winds, all sorts of velocity of things happening. I don't actually know a lot about this show. I wanted to read out the details in detail of the show from the Lost Media wiki page. I said I wasn't going to read out stuff from the Lost Media wiki. Those were on topics I really, really wanted to research thoroughly. And I wanted to just talk about all the facts I knew off the top of my head to add a different perspective to them. But this is something that not many people have covered. This is a recent thing in the front page of the Lost Media wiki. And I figured, there it is, there's on cue. I figured, why not just talk about The Chamber from what's factual and what's written on this page to do with it. So we're going to get to it right now. I'm going to go to that page. All I can say is they went way too far with this show. They pushed the limits to an extent, I believe, that was not yet seen on television, and they practically almost killed the contestant. That's one of the aspects of this. It's ridiculous. It was hosted by Rick Schwartz. The Schwartz. I bet he was a huge Spaceballs fan. Rick Schwartz. So the actor that played Dark Helmet in Spaceballs was Rick Moranis. So he took his first name, and he also really liked the Schwartz from Spaceballs as well. So he wanted his last name to be named after that. So it's a stage name. That can't be his real name. You gotta be kidding me. It's meant to be a visceral game show that just kind of pushes the limits. All right, this is the general gist of the show, guys. Each episode of The Chamber would begin with a pre-game face-off. Both contestants, looking each other in the eye, MMA pre-fight style, in which a male and female contestant would be given a category by Rick Schwartz. With the contestants then going back and forth, given an answer to fit that category until one contestant gave an incorrect answer, repeated an answer, or took too much time to answer, at which point, you're in the fucking chamber. No. At which point, the opponent could score a point by giving an additional correct answer. The first contestant to score 2 points in this regard would be declared the winner and would then be offered a $500 buyout to leave the game. Stupid, tedious thing they add to the game. No one took the buyout. Then and there, an offer which no one in the broadcast episodes accepted. There you fucking go. Of course. Why would they? They're on a TV show. Before moving on to the main game and the titular chamber. This is one of those shows where the producers are like, yeah, just do it. Let's just try it. Why not? Same thing as the late breakfast show. It's a video I made a few weeks ago that didn't get many views, but I talked about how that show was just like, yeah, let's just film it. Let's just do it. It's funny. Let's just make that show. It'll be good. They don't have any safety checks or anything to see if the games are going to be at all appropriate for the contestants, or if it's going to be safe for anyone. They just do it. They're like, yeah, just film it, bro. Let's just do it. Should get views. Should get a lot of ratings. This show, if you haven't already guessed, it's a massive bomb. No one has ever heard of it. I never heard of this for so many years. And I'm a game show fanatic, and I still never heard of this. So I think that says a lot, if you ask me. I probably know a way which episodes can be found, which I'm going to talk about at the end of this show. So if you're watching, you're from the Lost Media Wiki, I might be able to help you guys out, but I'm not sure yet. So multiple different that's all, folks. God, now it's the Looney Tunes again. Let me start that again. Multiple different variations of the chamber were planned out during the production of the series, with themes such as water, electric shocks, and insects. But in the produced episodes, only 2 versions would be utilized: a hot chamber and a cold chamber. Fucking hell. Both of these versions contained numerous features that were shared between them, including gradually decreasing oxygen levels, 40 miles, this is torture, 40 mile per hour wind gusts, 140 miles per hour air cannon blasts, simulated earthquakes, and electrodes contracting the player's muscles. What the Alongside these, both chambers also contained several aspects that were unique to each version. The cold chamber would begin at an internal temperature of 30 degrees Fahrenheit before decreasing towards a minimum of minus 20 Fahrenheit, and would occasionally spray water at the player, causing ice to form on their body. While the hot chamber began at an internal temperature of 110 degrees Fahrenheit before increasing to a maximum of 150 degrees Fahrenheit. This can kill people. I'm shocked this show didn't kill anyone. People are probably still suffering health effects from doing this show. I'm not even kidding. This is fucking torture for the human body. They sprayed jets of flames around the contestant and triggered movement in the chair in which the player was sat. This is insane. With this movement increasing from basic up and down and back and forth motion at the beginning of round 2 to full 360 degree rotation by the time the player reached the final round. What's happening in front of me right now that's probably getting into the microphone, even though I have amazing mic settings in this, is probably similar to what was happening in the show The Chamber. My brother is gurneying a deck with a high pressure water hose right in front of me. I film so many podcasts, I can't just tell him to stop and just reshoot. I have a lot of noise going on in the background of these podcasts I'm filming at the moment. There's a house being built there. There's renovations being done. There's all sorts of stuff being done on my house right now. So I've just got to keep recording podcasts. This is similar to what they would have put the contestants through in the chamber. And this high pressure hose, if you're right next to it, if you're literally, like if it's spraying you right there, that's painful. Water is the most sharp object, the most sharp thing ever. If you get water through a hose line thin enough and at a pressure fast enough, it cuts into anything virtually. More than any knife or more than any blade or more than anything could. So this just, I'm going to continue reading it, but this just seems like the creators of the show didn't realize how torturous this was to the contestants. They didn't realize what they were putting the contestants through. And I would be willing to bet they didn't fucking test out anything. The goal of each player was to answer as many questions and to remain in the chamber as long as possible. Oh my god. Ultimately winning the game if they could last through all 7 rounds. At the beginning of each round, 60 seconds would be put on the clock, and a series of questions would be asked to each player, each worth $1,000. Didn't I just read this out? I'm very confused. No, this is a different round. This is round 3, I think. If answered correctly, they're worth $1,000. Following the end of each round, the game would go on a 10-second stop-down mode, during which time the player's condition would be monitored. This is fucked. Before the next round would commence and the conditions within the chamber would be intensified. The game could end for the player in numerous different ways. If they answered 2 consecutive questions incorrectly, the torture ends finally. If their stress quotient an unspecified equation that used blood pressure, heart rate, and body temperature as variables exceeded the danger zone for more than 20 seconds. What the fuck? If the player shouted stop the chamber, but they're not going to, because they think this is allowed. They think this is safe enough for a television show when it really isn't. Or if the show's medical staff felt that the player was unfit to continue. This happened, which I'm going to get to in a second, and the person nearly died. Or if it had been rendered unconscious from stress, if a person was fucking hell, or if a person was unconscious doing this show. If the game ended for any of these reasons, then the player's winnings would be halved. Production and controversy. Here we go. The Chamber was developed by Mark Darnell, the then head of the alternative programming on Fox, who in turn was inspired by NBC's Fear Factor, which had debuted the previous year. Darnell wanted to create a game show that would emphasize a similarly visceral effect on its contestants, declaring that he wanted to hear if they are in pain or suffering. What the fuck is wrong with this dickhead? The extreme conditions under the contestants of the Chamber would be placed was a cause of a particular concern among many people involved in its production, with fellow Fox executive Preston Beckman believing that Darnell had created a show to make the viewers wonder if Fox might actually kill someone on television. Yes. These concerns were so great for Matt Vasgerisen, an American sportscaster who had been selected as the Chamber's initial host, that they would later cause him to leave the production outright. Wow. Matt had taken the job of host largely due to him being a friend of one of the program's producers, but upon arriving at a rehearsal, he would witness a college-aged girl being sprayed with water in the cold chamber before later overhearing a conversation between members of the show's production staff in which the potential ramifications of exposing the girl to hundreds of mosquitoes were discussed. What the fuck? Based on this brazen lack of regard for safety as well as the well-being of the contestants, my brain just broke. Matt immediately quit production and walked off set in disgust, later being replaced by the sports radio host Rick Schwartz. So Matt was the original host of the show, and Rick Schwartz was like, guys, I'm Rick Schwartz. Like, I'm Rick Moranis who has the Schwartz. Like, I can do this, bro. This is easy. These safety concerns were not entirely unfounded. However, as an incident would later occur during the filming in which the hot chamber would malfunction, leaving a contestant trapped inside with crew members being unable to release them or turn off the heating effects of some moments. The contestant would eventually be freed without injury, but the incident would still provoke stress among many who had witnessed it, with then Fox president Rick Berman, who was on set at the time of the incident had taken place. If someone gets that reference, I'll be very surprised. Being greatly disturbed by what she had seen. Oh my god. So this is almost just cancelled by the network. In addition to concerns over the extremity of its content, the Chamber would also be faced with a lawsuit from the producers of the ABC game show The Chair, who had previously which had previously been pitched to Darnell at Fox. This is what happens when I try and read out an article for this intensely long amount of time. I'm broken. The lawsuit accused the Chamber of being in direct imitation of The Chair, citing similarities in the gameplay of both programs. Contestants answering trivia questions in a high-stress area, with many environmental stimulants, their vital signs being monitored all the while as proof of plagiarism. Fox in turn would countersue, claiming that producers of The Chair had been sent to closed soundstage where the chamber was being filmed to spy on the set. What the hell is this shit? None of the shows got views anyway. I think The Chair actually did get views. The Chair's actually way more popular. Wow. And gather intel and ladder at the program. I'm just looking at this just in shock, guys. There's so much more information about how ridiculous this show is. Yeah, I don't know what to say. The Chamber premiered to high ratings, according to this, on January 13th, 2002. Wow, that's a long time ago. Drawing 10 million viewers. However, these ratings would quickly decline as the third episode garnered only 5.6 million people. Remember on Fox, guys, this is horrendous ratings in the USA with a population of 330 odd million. While 3 episodes of The Chamber that were broadcast would subsequently be recorded and uploaded online by various individuals, the 3 episodes that were that went unaired have never been publicly shown and remain lost to this day. Well, that makes it very interesting. I've got episode 1 playing behind me since the beginning of this podcast. That makes it very interesting then. I wonder if the person I'm thinking of has episodes. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a game show collector, and he has the most extensive game show collection I think I've ever seen worldwide almost. And he's primarily an American game show collector, and I've known about him for 12 years. I know it's a really long time. I got game shows from him the first time when I was like 11 or 12, pretty much. And he has the ultimate collection. And I'm going to find out right now on this very podcast if he has the chamber in his collection, if he has the unaired episodes, because this guy has everything. I'm not even joking. This guy has pretty much every show that has ever aired. Yeah. All I can say is this truly is the most ridiculous case of partially found lost media. This has to be it. This has to be the craziest I've ever come across personally. I don't think it gets crazier than the chamber. I mean, this is just next level, this show. I'm shocked by what I just read, by the way, guys. I genuinely am. That moment earlier where I stopped for a few seconds made me genuinely shocked. And now coming to the realization of all this background noise that I believe will be in this for audio listeners, maybe not video listeners, because this mic is very impressive. The settings I put on it through OBS. This basically is the backing track to the chamber. When the people are in there, this is what they hear with the water being sprayed on them. I'm just saying that because, I don't know, it works better. It works somehow for this episode of the podcast. Guys, I would stop recording to not have background noise, but that would mean recording these would be a nightmare for me. I would never be able to record them because of the amount of background noise I have going on at the moment. So 3 are found, 3 are lost. I think the 3 that are lost are on this page. I don't know why. Jerry Springer died recently. Sorry, I do a podcast. It's all filmed in one go, and I'm on a website right now with this guy's game show page. And apparently Jerry Springer died recently. Rip Jerry Springer. He had some legendary moments on his show. My God. Gee, that sucks. That sucks, man. I like this show. Controversial, but I like this show. All right, let's have a look. Let's see what he's got. Foreign game shows, other countries. We want America. We want America. Let's have a look. The chamber. Would the chamber be under C or T for that? I'm going to go A to C, and I'm going to type up the chamber. Nope. He has the premiere episode and the 3rd episode. He does not have any of the undiscovered episodes. And episode 2 is online, so all the episodes that are in his collection are online. I really thought, guys, that he would have this show. He has the chamber, so he is the ultimate game show collector. He has almost every game show ever made, but he does not have the unaired episodes. I wonder if they'll ever be released one day. I doubt it. I don't think they ever will. It is an interesting lost media when it's one of these mainstay shows on Fox, one of these big game shows they came up with. I wonder if the unaired episodes has someone almost dying. I really couldn't find, I don't know why I couldn't find the bit where the person like nearly died, because that was mentioned in a recent video I saw about that. Here it is. I found it. My God. Oh my God, I fucking found it. All right. There is the case of one of the contestants who filed a lawsuit against the show, Scott Brown. He was hospitalized for hypothermia after being exposed to all 7 levels of the cold chamber during the appearance of the show. Fucking hell. The lawsuit would be settled out of court, with Scott being awarded $100,000 in compensation. I think that's pretty fair. Should have been given $100,000 for going through all 7 levels of the chamber. Like, are you serious? This is ridiculous. Oh my God. What the fuck? This show hospitalized the contestant for hypothermia. What were they thinking making this fucking show? This is absurd. Oh my God. Well, we're going to find out, but it hasn't been mentioned here if that episode was an unaired episode or if it was an aired episode. Given the fact that it's not actually mentioned in here, I would be willing to bet that it's an aired episode. The 3 episodes that remain lost are the contestant Scott Blake. I think he Scott Brown, the contestant. Sorry, I think he's in one of the aired episodes, because it doesn't say here that he was in one of the unaired episodes. They would have made a point out of that to fill it in this paragraph. They should specify if that was in an aired episode, because I'm not going to go through all 3 episodes of The Chamber. I'm not going to do my research for this one, guys. I'm going to read off the Lost Media wiki article. I did that because I knew that no one had ever heard of this, and I had never heard of this before a couple of days ago, and I wanted to go through every single detail of this properly for the viewers. I like reading through an article when it's a piece of lost media no one knows about, but I refuse to, on this podcast, read through lost media wiki articles when it's a piece of lost media that I'm not trying to shed light on, when it's something people already know. If it's something I'm trying to shed a bit of light on, like this, yes, we will talk about it, but fucking hell. It's insane. I think that's all there is to it, guys. I've still got the episode 1 of The Chamber playing behind me. You can check that out in the description. I've got all 3 episodes that have been found in the description to this podcast. But my God, what an insane show The Chamber is. A very long episode today, the Lost Media podcast. We've gone over the 20-minute mark. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this episode, this piece of partially found lost media was insane as you thought it could be by the title of this video. Look, we got to get attention on this channel. We need it. We need this channel. I honestly, guys, can I just say to finish this episode, the support has been insane. I never could have imagined a month ago. I started this podcast on the 10th of May. It's now the 11th of May. That starting at 23 subscribers or 25 subscribers, I think this dummy account had. It was just a separate account I had to display a show reel of all the stuff I'd done in the past. And to turn this into a lost media channel and to get 423 subscribers, I think we're on right now after a month, is beyond anything I could have imagined. So thank you guys. Oh, I'm getting a little bit emotional. Thank you guys. I honestly can't believe it. It's taken a long time for me to grasp. Been a long journey with me on YouTube. I've done it for 8 years, and so this is the most amount of subscribers I've gained for something that gets a regular audience, so it's really, really cool. Anyway, guys, that's it. My most successful period on YouTube ever after doing it since 2015. It's quite nice, but I also want to, as usual, every second episode, shout out the On We Talk podcast. We film podcasts every week. I'm the co-host. It is a hilarious podcast. The episode that was released recently, guys, it's very, very funny. Check that out. It's a comedy podcast. It's always, as always, it's in the description and it's in the end screen of every video. So check it out. And Matt, I know you are watching this right now. I hope you are watching this. I don't know if he was. He watches a lot of them though. The host, my co-host, the host. Am I the co-host? Who is the host? He's the host. It's a great podcast though, guys. So do check it out. I've got 2 more coming tomorrow, and then the weekend I'm having a break. But every week I'm trying to make 6 to 8 podcasts. I'm actually gonna, because I'm going on a trip in a few weeks, I'm actually gonna do a lot filmed and edited in the time frame of the next 3 weeks, if I can speak. And then I'm going to release them while I'm away. So you'll still get episodes even though I'm going away, which is going to be nice. Again, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. A long episode today, but it's a podcast. We're allowed to have long episodes, damn it. Okay, this has to end. See you guys. Oh, God.